This is Coffee with Kerry. Each week we meet amazing people who are going to be challenged to step from behind their profession for a game show and interview whilst having lots of fun. If you're looking to inject more fun into your world, join us here every week. It's time to get on with the show. Welcome back to another episode of Coffee with Kerry. Super excited to be here. And once again, another brave soul has stepped forward to step through the rounds and do all the silly and crazy things. And it's Coffee with Kerry. Anything can happen. Welcoming today's guest, James Scott from across the pond Sports Network, all the way from the UK, coming to the studio in the land down under. Welcome to the show, James.
Thank you. It's great to be here. I must say, every time you say "from the land down under," it just takes me to that song every time. And
I come from the land down under.
Yeah, for the next 2-3 hours, I've just got that one little bit of the song just going through my head over and over
Gets
again.
stuck in your head. I hope that's not too annoying for you, but it's a pretty good song.
It's a good song, to be fair, so it's not too bad.
Awesome. James, thanks for joining us. Super excited to have you here, and we've got so many things to step through. Are you ready?
I am good to go.
Excellent. Round one. James, round one is the mug shot. You were asked to bring a mug for today's episode. Have you got it with you, buddy?
So I've got a mug, but obviously when we're recording this, it is 9 p.m. Now, this is a Waldorf Astoria mug from Edinburgh, and it's a season's greetings one. We are coming up to Christmas after all. We bought these last year because with COVID and everything, the hotel was looking to make a bit of extra money, and they started making these hot chocolate bombs. Don't know if you've seen them. Basically, it's like a big sphere of chocolate, and it's got marshmallows and stuff in the middle, and then you drop it in hot milk, and it makes hot chocolate, which is amazing. And so the boys loved it. We did it Christmas Eve and stuff last year, and we just got the mugs to kind of go with, and it was awesome. It was really good. However, obviously it's 9 p.m. still November, so my second mug is more a glass, as you can see. Because
Brilliant.
You can drink anything on Coffee with Kerry.
Absolutely. Any beverage goes. It's coffee for Kerry and anything for anyone else. So love that. Good choice, mate. Good choice. I've got a mug for today's episode. Because I know you're a little bit of a fan, I brought this one. I don't know if you can see that. It says, "For Fox's sake." So we have foxes here in Australia, and I thought, you know what, I'll bring my little fox along for Fox's sake.
We do. We have foxes here in the UK as well, and they get loud. They get really loud. Oh yeah.
Oh.
And we just moved house, and our old house, there was a wooded area behind it, and 3 a.m, you'd wake up to this screaming. And to be fair, I thought it was my kids, so I'd be rushing through their bedroom. They're passed out sleeping, and you still hear this noise, and they're oh, it's out the back. The foxes are doing whatever they're doing.
Oh, okay.
It was wailing.
Yeah, exactly. Sounds like the coyotes in the US. I've heard those having their little episode. Crazy stuff. James, can we do a cheers to the screen with our mugs, buddy? Whichever one you want to pick up doesn't matter.
I picked the real one.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Awesome. Thank you, James. Thanks for playing the mug shot. Glad you brought two. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well done. All right, we're going to step into the next round.
I feel like I'm in a boxing match here.
Oh, yeah, it is. It is a bit like that. The next round is 5 fun facts about you. And in order for us to be able to grab those 5 fun facts, we do need to refer to the numbers board behind me. We have numbers 1 to 20, and you need to pick 5 of those numbers. So fire away.
I'm going to go for the first one being number 12.
Oh, yeah. Next.
Number 10.
10. Next.
14.
14. Yep.
I'm trying to think now. This has got tough. I'm stumped already. It's number 2,
Yep.
number 4.
Oh, yay. Have I got 5? Yes, I do. All right, we've got 5 numbers. Good job, good job. And I nearly hung myself on my cord here. Geez, these things are like skipping ropes, right? Jeepers creepers. Anyway, all right, we have 5 numbers. We're going to start with the order that which you picked them, James. So we're going to start with
Ooh.
number 12. The question for number 12 is, what's the weirdest thing you've ever eaten?
Oh, the weirdest thing I've eaten.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did. I don't know if it's the same in Australia, but like in the UK, you have to do French at school, and
Yeah, we did.
so we had a French teacher. She was as mad as a hatter, and I swear to God, she had a bottle of vodka on her desk.
Oh,
Um, so she once decided she brought in like a hot plate type thing, and she actually cooked escargot on the hot plate. The fire alarm didn't go off. Now that I think about it, probably should have. Maybe it didn't work. But yeah, she made that, and I tasted it, and yeah, it came right back out again. I was
oh,
not
no
amused.
good. No good at
No,
all.
no, I was not amused. She did later on try frog's legs, and that was actually quite nice. But
Oh,
yeah, this gargoyle, no, I was not a fan.
so what was the flavour? Because I've not tried them. Please explain. Was it like a little bit, were they bitter or were they slimy or?
Yeah, it was the texture. Like
Yeah.
I didn't even concentrate on the taste. I
Mm-hmm.
because she did it in like a garlicky kind of butter, I think. So, um, that's all I really got a taste of. But it was the texture. It was just nah. It wasn't for me. It's a bit like rice pudding. I can't
Mm-hmm.
eat rice pudding. Rice
Really?
pudding to me is nah. It like just gives me the bulk.
Oh, okay. And I understand that because it is just a little bit kind of, but it's got to be the right rice pudding. Like if I think the homemade with the sultanas in it is quite good, but as soon as you're getting something out of a packet, it's just ugh, no, 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 no.
Yeah, normally I think everything homemade is tends to be way better than out of a packet anyway. But rice pudding for me is like a no go
Okay.
either way.
No rice pudding for James. Noted. Got it. Excellent. All right. We're going to move on to question number 10. Question number 10 is there a book that you've read multiple times?
So I could lie here, but I won't. I am almost illiterate. Like I do not read whatsoever. I have read one book, sorry, two books cover to cover in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I once sent my wife to sleep reading a book. I said, oh, Rachel, you know what? I'm going to read this book. It's called Color of Law. One page in, she was out for the count. She was gone. So, like, but when I was younger, um, if I even know when I was that younger, I think we'd still, I think we were almost married. So,
Mm-hmm.
Alex Ferguson had brought out an autobiography, and Alex Ferguson's a big deal in Scotland and obviously for UK soccer, football as well. So, um, his was a story that I really wanted to know. Like I was really interested in. Like he came from the same city I came from Glasgow. So, like I just wanted to know more about him and his career, like especially his early career because I was too young to know it. And so I read that cover to cover,
Mm-hmm.
and only because of the controversy, he had a team captain at Manchester United called Roy Keane, so I read his cover to cover as well. To be fair, his was a lot shorter and like the words were bigger on the page, so his was a lot easier to read than Alex Ferguson's.
James, I'm with you. I just cannot read. I've tried. You know, you hear all these people say people that read books are highly intelligent. And I'm like, I'm pretty freaking smart. You know, like I consider myself quite smart. I just can't sitting still with the words and I can't get into it. I watch YouTube. If someone gave me a kid's book with lots of pictures, I'd be completely intrigued. But actually sitting down, sitting still with a book and words, I can't. I just can't. It's not because I can't read. It's just I can't. I would be probably having a nap, and I don't nap. So I'm with you, 100%. But I love the fact that we didn't even reach 10 minutes and we started talking about sports. So that was
Well, there you go.
highly expected. To be honest, I thought we'd be into the sports by the 2 minute mark. So good job with that. All right, we're going to move into the next question, number 14, which is, would you prefer to travel to space or explore the deep ocean?
Oh, space.
Space?
I've always been a Star Trek guy. Um, since the Next Generation came out, because I was a kid when that came out, when that show came out, and it was such an awesome show. And I was an exceptionally young boy, an exceptionally lucky boy. Um, Next Generation finished, and then they kind of brought out Deep Space Nine, and they brought out Star Trek Voyager. And while they were both filming those TV shows, I got the opportunity to visit LA, and I had an invitation to Paramount Pictures to go and walk on the sets of those two shows while they were filming, which was pretty awesome, I have to
Wow.
say. But yeah, so space would be for me.
I can picture that. I can picture you in the whole astronaut suit and everything. I think you'd pull that off really well.
Hope they do them in extra XL though.
All right, next question, James, is number 2. And question number 2 is, are you a pet owner?
Oh, not at the moment.
Okay,
However, there is a gecko in my future. I understand.
gecko.
My son, yeah, my son wants it's like a little lizard.
Yeah.
Um, my son wants one for his birthday is like the week before Christmas. So on occasion he likes to try and combine like his Christmas birthday gifts. So, um, we're gonna get him a gecko. I believe. I don't think it's my decision. I think it's Rachel's, but I think that's what we're going for this year.
You're going to go along with it by the sound of it and just, yep, okay, yep,
I just
right,
get told
okay.
it's arriving. Like I have no say.
No, exactly, exactly. All right, last question, James, and you're out of the hot seat, kind of, for a little bit. Number 4 is, oh, in the evening, I know the answer to this already. In the evening, are you a TV watcher, book reader, or something else? Gee, let me think.
I'm oh honestly, I'm something else.
Yeah.
Because when I get home from work in the evening after a full day's work, I come and do my second job, which is running a sports network. So, yeah, I used to be TV. That would be the easy call. But yeah, I don't. I don't know if you have it in Australia, but we have Sky, and they've got like this 1 terabyte box where you can record all your programs onto it.
Yep.
Um, yeah, there's a bunch of programs on there that I have not watched, and they've been there for about a year and a half. So, which is funnily enough, as long as I've been doing podcasting. So,
Yeah, of course, of course. That makes perfect sense. And again, I knew the answer to that question. It was just a matter of you saying it out loud. Cool. All right, we are going to step into the next round. Late breaking news. James, something's come in from an unknown source
oh crap!
that potentially there's other sports things coming too across the pond sports. Get it right, Kerry. It's a mouthful, I've got to say. Um, so are there other things in the future? Because you've already got 7. Like, let's be honest now, you've got a lot of, it's starting to branch out. You've just hit golf, right?
Yeah, we just hit golf
Yeah.
with Sinead and Logan. That has taken off and been a massive success straight from the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
The other podcast that we launched, a lot of them, like most podcasts, were slow burns and built an audience over time. But the golf has just like been popular from the get go. Some of that has to do with the hosts.
Yeah.
Sinead is like a golf influencer, so she has a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
that are interested in what she's doing anyway. Logan is a former pro, so like he's got a lot of connections in that world. But they've both been awesome. But we do
Mm-hmm.
have we do have a lot on the go, and a lot of plans. We're actually working on our plans for 2022 right now. There's
Mm.
talk of rugby,
Oh.
talk of motorsport,
Mm.
talk of uh, so much. Also, as well, I think one thing that we want to do is be a bit more diverse in
Yep.
terms of what we're doing. So maybe not just doing podcasts,
Oh.
um, but in terms of our website,
Mm.
just now you can find out all about the hosts, what guests we've got coming up. You can even listen to the podcast. But what we want to do is have some like articles in there, like some actual written content as well.
That's a good
I think
idea.
really important, and trying to build ourselves up fully,
Mm.
and then long term goal. I wrote this memo, or as Jerry Maguire would say it, mission statement
Mhm.
last week, and I sent out to the guys and said, "Look, this is our goals. This is where I want to be." And the last two, and I said in big brackets and big capital words, I said, like this is like distant, like goals.
Mhm.
I'd love to have a transatlantic 24-hour sports news channel where we
Ooh.
cover all of the sports,
Mhm.
um, from both sides of the pond, that
Yeah.
we are then able to kind of shape depending on what
Mhm.
time of the day it is.
Yeah.
So just now, like the UK has Sky Sports News, which is
Mhm.
24 hours news, and at the moment, obviously it's mostly Premier League, it's cricket, it's rugby, and all that kind of stuff, and they just kind of sometimes it just feels like a bit of a loop. Whereas
Yep.
my plan would be that because of the time of day, because you're doing it judged on the time of day. So if it's
Mm.
prime time in the west coast of the states, you're going to have American football, you're going to have basketball, you have NHL. Whereas if it's prime time in the UK, you're going to then concentrate more on Premier League, on tennis, cricket, that kind of stuff.
Mm.
So
That
that
makes sense.
that's the long term goal. That is a goal that's probably a while off. But
Mhm.
having talked to people, um, it's actually not that unachievable. It is
Yeah.
achievable, but it just takes a lot of legwork, and I think I think we have to prove ourselves first as a sports network and what we're
Yep.
doing. So that's why we have the podcasts and
Mhm.
building more into them, and that's why we're going to have kind of more written content on the website as well, so we can build up. And I think that's what I've done since I started. I've just built up
Yeah.
slowly. Nothing's rushed. Everything's been natural. People that have come to me and said, "Oh, have you thought about doing this podcast?" Yeah, let's do it. Like Logan, for example, the golf.
Mhm.
Logan was in a clubhouse room and he says to me, "Oh, if you ever do an episode on like golf, let me know and I'll come and help out." I was like,
Yep.
"Well, why don't you just do a podcast?" And he was like, "Yeah, I could do a podcast." Like, cool. We'll get you a co-host. I got in touch with
Yeah.
Sinead. Sinead was like, "Oh, I've always wanted to do a podcast." Bing bang
Cool.
bosh, you've got Across the Pond Golf podcast. So,
So
yeah,
James, I've got some suggestions for you. Okay, so first there's the Olympics. So I think that definitely, and
that's
not
come
saying
up.
that needs, yep, not that that needs its own show necessarily, but it could fall under a banner of the general sports one. So let's go for Olympics. I think you've probably got things like cricket. There's lawn bowls. What else is there? Oh, ping pong, table tennis. That's huge. Table tennis is huge. Then you've got trying to think of um what's that one at the beach with the volleyball, like the beach volleyball, that's huge in the
Volleyball.
States. Yeah. What's that? But yeah, I reckon we could start a list for you and then maybe start playing. Oh my god, do you follow the darts, the dart tournaments on? Oh
I
my
do.
god.
It's big in the UK. It even has its
Oh,
own sports channel. To be fair,
oh, it's
but yeah,
massive, massive. Anyway,
it is
well,
popular.
I think we could start a list, and then each maybe a couple of months or something, pick one and get it out there. Or you could even say, you know what, next year I'll do three. So you could pick like three top ones that you're gonna. Because I'm just building your network here, by the way. So
Yeah,
bad
yeah,
luck
brilliant.
if you
Thanks.
wanted to keep it at seven, you've got no hope because the whole community's like out there going, yes, James, do this. Yes, James, do this because you've got the potential. It's super cool. I'm so excited.
It's massive, and like the Olympics obviously did come up because of Tokyo, along with the Paralympics. As
Oh
I was
yes.
contacted and said, "Would you do a Paralympics?" Now, because of time it would take to set up and what I do and have been able and slightly successful so far is when we started the NFL podcast. I wrote to the NFL and applied for media membership,
Mm-hmm.
so that we can get like all the kind of press releases and statements and everything else. And, it took a year, but we
Yeah.
finally got it. We now have access to everything, all the logos, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and obviously, we're trying to do the same with the NBA, the MLB, and all the rest of it. But um, the Olympics, it was too short a time period to kind of go and ask them for that kind of access. Obviously, everything was being done remotely anyway, which
Mm.
would have worked in our favor. But
Yep.
just in terms of trying to get media access, would have been too short a time scale for what they look for.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely on the plan. Commonwealth Games as well,
Yes,
because
thank you. Yep.
obviously, like Australia, UK.
Mm-hmm.
Last time I used to play basketball, so I'm going to give my boy Craig Nicholas a shout out, and Beveridge, Rob Beveridge, out in Australia because he was the head coach of Scotland
Yes.
at the Commonwealth Games, and Craig and Rob got us to, I think it was the semi-finals of the
Oh,
Commonwealth Games for basketball. We
yeah.
we we beat teams like England. We hadn't beat England since like the 70s. So there was a lot of excitement in Scotland about the
Mm-hmm.
last Commonwealth Games, and the next
Mm.
ones are in Birmingham next year.
Mm.
So hopefully we can build upon what we did. I think it was the Gold Coast we were on last time, wasn't it, for the
Yeah.
Commonwealth
Yeah.
Games? Yeah. So
Definitely.
yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully we
Awesome.
can do more of the same.
Oh, watch this space, people. Watch this space. Telling you right now. All right, we're going to step into the next round. The next round is, James, Survivor Challenge. Coffee with Kerry Survivor Challenge. Hope you're ready for this one. Okay. The rules, very important. Choose 3 companions. They must be celebrities or like by name or by character. You have no supplies. You're on a deserted island. You've just been dropped on this island. No supplies. You're going to be there forever. I need 3 celebrity names from you by name or by character that are going on this island with you, James.
Okay, first one is pretty easy. It's John Stockton. He was pretty much my idol when I walked out. He's a celebrity. He's a very downplayed celebrity. He doesn't. He used to play basketball for my Utah Jazz
Right?
when I was growing up. So yeah, I'd love to just like pick his brain, like because he's one of the best players. He's one of the best 50 players that ever played the game. So, I yeah, big fan of his. Second, oh,
Mm-hmm.
second. You know what? You know who's absolutely hilarious?
Mm.
We had Barbara Majeski from the Today Show on our podcast this week. Now, when you see her on TV, she is very different to that in person. She was an absolute hoot and absolute all over the place. She's really passionate about what she does, and that came
Mm-hmm.
across. And we were talking NFL. Her kind of world is lifestyle. And so, yeah, she was absolutely amazing, though. She was so much fun. So I think for comedy value, I'd have Barbara.
Okay. Yep.
Um, and then I'd have, third one. Oh, this is really, really tough. I think I would probably have to go back to sports. And
Shocker.
a shock horror, yeah, I know. And you know what? I would actually say Alex Ferguson. He was someone that was because he was at Manchester United all the way through my childhood, basically. Yeah, he was someone who was very, very consistent.
Hmm.
And obviously, he was also very successful. He's Scottish. He's from Glasgow. So, yeah, I would go with Alex Ferguson.
Now, I've got a little bit of a. So I'm trusting you on these people because I have
All
no
right.
idea. No idea at all. None. No clue. Kerry is completely clueless over here. So we've got John, we've got Barbara, and we've got Alex. Now, the question is A, what are they going to do other than, like you mentioned about Barbara being, quite comical and John, you want to pick his brain, Are you going to survive on this island, James? Because, like, what are these people going to bring to the table, and yourself? So there's 4 parties here now. So who's building shelter? Who's fetching food? Who's doing the cooking? Don't worry about the dishes; it doesn't exist on the island. Who's doing all the chores here? How's this going to work?
So Barbara's a lifestyle person. So, um, but if we'll go with Barbara, nah, I think you know what. Construction wise, I think Alex would be the leader, and
Okay.
he would give instruction to me and John, who
Mm-hmm.
would build the thing. Um, Barbara would definitely be she's very creative. I've seen some of her segments. We don't get her TV show over here in the UK, but certainly on Instagram when she posts something, she's very creative. So yeah, I'd go with that. I think we would survive. I mean,
You're
I'd probably
okay.
have to do the hunting, but yeah, I think
Oh,
we'd be all
good,
right.
good. Yep, yep. I like that. I think the main thing is survival. Survival is important on this island, but I do like the fact that you've gone for thing like people that relate to you in your interests. You know, you do need to have good conversation. There's only 4 of you. You're going to be on this island forever. Like that's important. If we surround ourselves with, people that can just do the work, but we wouldn't actually have anything in common with, that might be a little bit kind of boring and awkward and not very entertaining for sure. So I think you've done well as far as that's concerned. And now that you've mentioned Alex is going to take control and give you and John instructions and you'll go and do the hunting, I think you're okay. I think this is a pass, maybe, maybe, maybe. But
I think so.
last question, how
Good.
are they going to get along with each other?
Oh, I think Alex would have us sat by the campfire telling war stories about his days at Rangers, uh, and I think and Aberdeen. You know the day he beat Real Madrid. Probably the day he kicked the boot at David Beckham's face and cut under his eye. That kind of stuff. John, I think he would. He's quite a quiet guy, and he keeps himself to himself. He's not in the media too much, to be fair. So I think he would just kind of stand by and analyze kind of everyone. And I think Barbara would just she would just be an absolute hoot. She would bring the house down. Hopefully not,
Hmm.
because we'd still want to sleep under there. But I think I think I think she'd be absolutely hilarious.
Love it. Love it. All right, James, I think I'm going to give you a 50-50 chance of survival here. I think but I think it's a good 50% chance of survival. I think you'll do okay. You'll bring it all together.
51. Go 51. Yeah.
51, tip it over the edge. That's it. Awesome. All right, James, next round. The next round is, you would have noticed this wheel behind me, the wheel of reveal. So, James, you can't spin the wheel. I'll spin it on your behalf and it'll land on a word that's going to reveal the question related to that word. Are you ready?
I'm ready. How cool would it be though if I could reach down the
I
camera?
know.
That'd
Exactly. Exactly. All right, I'm
be
going to spin
awesome.
it for you. Hmm, it has landed on the word talent. Hmm. So,
Mm.
in case you didn't
Oh,
guess, I need to know, do you have a hidden talent?
do I have a hidden talent?
Mm,
I used to have a hidden talent. Unfortunately, my
used to.
age, yeah, my age is going to cut up on me somewhat. I used to do this thing. My wife was embarrassed as hell by it. But I used to do this thing where if we were out at a nightclub, I would just like start breakdancing and do the splits.
No way, the
Um,
splits. Oh my
Yeah, I used
God.
to do splits.
Oh
I
my.
cannot do it anymore.
Mm-mm,
I think I'd
mm-mm.
break something. But yeah, I used to do the splits, and I
Oh
used to do
my
it on a
God.
regular basis as well. Because when I played basketball, somebody said to me that you had to be nimble and you had to
Hmm.
be very flexible and everything else. So, um, I worked on that like when I was in high school. And when I finished high school, I only met Rachel a couple of years after I finished high school. So like that was my I'm just going to show off. I'm going to do a bit of break dancing and do the splits. Um, so yeah, that was my talent. I could not do it now for the life of me. I would literally like put myself in hospital.
And James, when you talk breakdancing, are you like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the back, spinning on the floor, that kind of thing, or just the splits and a few other moves?
So imagine, I don't know if you've seen American Pie 2 with
No.
here's something for you to Google: Stifler's dance.
Okay.
It is absolutely hilarious, and in the context of the movie, it's even funnier. So if you get to see the whole movie, do. But he's basically this kind of like womanizing guy, but he walks into a bar and just like there's a bit of a competition starts up and he starts dancing and it's all of a sudden like hang on, he can dance, and he's actually very good. So yeah, I would go along with, if anyone's seen that, they'll know exactly what I mean.
Okay, good. I will Google that. Thank you so much. I always get set homework from this freaking show. I'm telling you right now, because I don't know. Am I living under a rock here in Australia or what? I just don't know the people. I don't know the movies. Well, yeah, I don't know a lot of things, but I will get across that, James. So thank you. I will definitely do that. And we have a text message from someone in the audience. This is interesting. They actually want to expand further on your hidden talent and ask if you have any hobbies outside of podcasting. Text message
So
received.
yeah, I did. Again, I did. Kind of
Did.
podcasting's kind of taken over my world. I
Mm-hmm.
used to obviously play basketball,
Mm-hmm.
and then after I was done playing, I coached, and
Ah.
that kind of became my thing because I think when I was a kid, that the people coaching were either current players from like the senior team, or it was kind of players that kind of retired from playing and decided to move into coaching and kind of give up their time, like
Mm-hmm.
their free time, because no one gets paid for it in the UK.
Yeah.
So it was people giving up their spare time to coach, and I don't know. I think when I got done playing, my friend Craig Nickel said, "Do you want to come coach?"
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of like, yeah, I could give that a try and see if I'm any good at it. Turns out I wasn't too bad, so I very much enjoyed it. Enjoyed working with the boys, and I kind of moved up the age groups as well. So I started off like coaching like really young kids, like five,
Mm-hmm.
6 years old, and then and when I finished, I was coaching under 18s.
Ah.
So I'd kind of moved up the age groups, and our club, City of Edinburgh Basketball Club, are very unique in Scotland because they're the only club in Scotland that play also in England competitions. So I was basically coaching the Scotland team, and Craig and Katie and Troy, they coached basically the England team. So it was kind of your elite players were going down to play England, and my job was to develop the other under 18s so that maybe in the next year or the year after they could play in England as well. So very
Wow.
successful. It's a
Mm.
very successful club, to be fair. It's run really well. Claire Mackle, if it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't have ended up going back to basketball. I didn't play basketball for 12 years,
Oh.
but I put in an email to the club and said, yeah, I'd like to come and try and see if I can still play. It turned out I really couldn't, but they gave me they gave me the opportunity, and it's a like I say, it's a great club. And if I had more time, if there was more hours in the day, I'd
Mm.
still be coaching there as well.
Mm, yeah. Speaking of more hours in the day, there's just never enough. And I know your sleep schedule's shrinking by the day, if not by the moment. So, oh God, I don't know how you do it, buddy. I really, really don't.
It's funny. We had a guest on beginning of the season, John Murray. When I say guest, he's kind of like a stand-in host if me or Katie aren't available.
Mm-hmm.
And he said to me one time we were recording, he says, James, do you actually ever sleep? Because like I was looking at the clock the other night and it was 3 a.m. your time and you were on Facebook. Like, do you
Mm-hmm.
actually ever sleep? And he was like, and then you sent messages. And I was like, what the hell is this guy doing? So it's not like I just left my phone on. He was like, you actually sent messages. So yeah,
Yeah. I
sleep
wonder
is a
if,
premium.
oh, it is. It is. And it's something that we just kind of grab when we can. to be honest. Like, it's definitely not the highest on the priority list. It probably should be, but
Just gets in the way.
it does. It's actually inconvenient, right? Like, I think it doesn't fit our lives, and we've got way better things to be doing with our time than just laying in bed for 8 hours. And who's got 8 hours? 8 hours. Oh my god, unheard of completely.
Can't remember the last time I had 8 hours.
I nearly got it last night. I nearly did. I've purposely been kind of extending myself and getting shorter periods of sleep in the lead up to this recording, because was going to be like super early for me in the new Kerry world. But yeah, I think I almost maybe 7.5, maybe, and I was like, Phew. Got up this morning. I'm like, oh my god, I actually don't look too bad. I think I look okay for a change, which is normally there's big bags and all kinds of stuff going on. So yeah, that was a nice change, I've got to say. Thank you, James. Awesome. Dude, we've come to the end of the show already. Can you believe it?
Already? Jeez,
I
feels
know.
like we just started.
I know. I need some. I keep saying I actually need some new toys, and I need some, inspiration of new rounds. So if anyone's got any suggestions, please hit me up on Instagram or Facebook, wherever you hang out. If you're hanging out on YouTube, drop some comments in this episode as well if you've got suggestions of rounds that I can add to the show. And we're looking to change it up. We're coming to the end of 2021 here, and we've got some special things planned, just saying, but also stepping into 2022, it's going to be refreshed show, new rounds, all the kind of things happening, and certainly bringing fun to people's lives. But James, mate, if we want to connect with you, where can we find you?
So Instagram's probably the best place. We got booted off Twitter. So we're not on there anymore. But we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, probably the best place. And even on our website, the guys that created the website were like, you know what, people might want to connect with you. So we'll do this thing where we create like a comments box where people can send you messages and stuff. So we do, that actually does get used as well. I thought they were talking crap. But it actually does get used. So thanks, Ben and Charlie.
I really need to get across this stuff, James. I am terrible when it comes to international
Well,
sports. Oh my
you've
God.
got space behind you. You
Yeah,
could put like a world map up
I have.
behind
There's a
you.
world map right there.
I know, but a bigger one that like big
Oh, you
colourful
want
one.
bigger? Oh, okay.
Yeah, like the size of the wall.
Well, I could actually get like an artist in to do like a mural type of, like a cartoon version of the globe is what I was thinking.
My
Yeah,
wife
that
will
had.
do it for you.
Oh, there you
My,
go,
my
Rachel.
Rachel did. Rachel did a like a It was a couple of years ago now. In our old house, the boys, well, Logan especially, my oldest, he loves dinosaurs, and she like painted one wall, and it was like green fields and dinosaurs everywhere and sky and all this kind of stuff.
Oh wow,
It looked amazing. If I can find the
yeah,
pictures for it, I'll send
send it
you.
through. Yeah.
It did. It looked absolutely amazing. She did an amazing. It took her a long time, but
Mm.
it looked absolutely amazing.
So what we need to do then is we need to package up Rachel, send her over to Australia. She can come and do my thing on the wall. She can stay. I'll take her around a bit and show her a few sites and everything, and then ship her home. Yeah.
She might not want to come home. We do have three boys,
3 boys.
and I mean
Well,
she might
4
enjoy the
boys, including James.
well.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, that's what she says as well. Um, she always says, "Yeah, I've got three boys." Yeah, well, yeah, technically four,
Yeah.
but yeah, she might not want to come back, so she might just enjoy not having the boys with her.
James, we need to play the music to play us out to wrap up the show. It's been so great. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. I appreciate your time, buddy, and it's been a lot of fun.
Thank you so much for having me. It's I've been watching for a while, so I was glad I could get on and do this because it's something I wanted to do for a while.
Yay. Thanks, James. Thanks for tuning in to Coffee with Kerry. You can catch us weekly, and I'd love to receive your rating or personal review. See you next week.